There is a day in human history that 2,000 years later still stops people in their tracks. It is the day that a man who claimed to be the Son of God was arrested, beaten, mocked, and nailed to a Roman cross. By every human standard, it looked like a catastrophic failure. His followers scattered, his enemies celebrated, his body was sealed inside a tomb. And yet, billions of people across the world call that day Good Friday. Why good? How could any day that involved that level of suffering, injustice, and sorrow ever be called good? That is the question this message is built around. And the answer, when you truly grasp it, has the power to redefine your entire life. Because here is what I want you to understand. Good Friday was not a tragedy that God scrambled to recover from. It was a mission that God had planned before the foundation of the world. Today, we are going to walk through the events of that day, not as distant history, but as a personal story that was written with your name in mind. To understand what happened on Good Friday, we have to begin not in Jerusalem, but in eternity. The crucifixion of Jesus was not an accident. It was not a tragedy that spun out of control. Long before Roman soldiers ever drove a nail into wood, this moment was foretold. He was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. Isaiah 53:5. That prophecy was written more than 700 years before Jesus was born, and every single word of it came true on a Friday afternoon outside the walls of Jerusalem. This tells us something important about the nature of God. He does not react, he orchestrates. He is not surprised by suffering, he is sovereign over it. And the cross was the most dramatic display of that sovereignty the world has ever seen. In America today, we live in a culture that wants everything instantly. We want problems solved quickly, pain removed immediately, and confusion cleared up on demand. But God's greatest act of redemption took centuries of preparation, generations of prophecy, and an obedient Son who was willing to say, "Not my will, but yours be done." Good Friday begins not on Calvary. It begins in the heart of a God who loved the world so much that he designed a rescue mission before the world even knew it was lost. The night before the crucifixion, Jesus gathered with his closest disciples in an upper room in Jerusalem. It was Passover, the most sacred Jewish celebration of the year. At that table, Jesus took bread and broke it. He took the cup and poured it, and he said, "This is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you." Luke 22:19-20. Jesus was not simply having a Passover meal. He was announcing that he was the Passover. He was the Lamb. The bread was his body. The cup was his blood. After dinner, he walked to the Garden of Gethsemane, and there, in the darkness, among the ancient olive trees, Jesus fell to his knees and prayed one of the most heart-wrenching prayers ever recorded. "Father, if you're willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done." Luke 22:42. He was not being weak, he was being human. He knew what was coming. He felt the full weight of what he was about to carry, not just the physical suffering, but the spiritual separation from the Father he had known from eternity. And yet, he chose to go forward. Love pushed him through the garden. Love got him to his feet, and love walked him toward the cross. Late that night, Judas Iscariot, one of Jesus' own disciples led a group of soldiers into the garden. He identified Jesus with a kiss, and they arrested him. What followed was a series of illegal, rushed trials. The religious leaders had already made up their minds. They needed Rome to carry out the execution. And so Jesus was brought before Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. 3 times Pilate declared that he found no basis for a charge against Jesus. 3 times the crowd shouted louder, "Crucify him!" In one of history's most tragic displays of moral cowardice, Pilate washed his hands and handed Jesus over, not because justice demanded it, but because political pressure was too great. The soldiers took Jesus and flogged him. This was not a simple beating. Roman flogging was one of the most brutal forms of punishment in the ancient world. A leather whip embedded with bone and metal, shredded through muscle and flesh. Many men did not survive it. Then they placed a crown of thorns on his head. They draped a purple robe over his torn back. They knelt before him in mockery and said, "Hail, King of the Jews!" and they struck him again and again. I want you to sit with that for a moment. This is not a sanitized Hollywood version of events. The Son of God was tortured, and he could have stopped it at any moment. He said so himself, that he could have called down 12 legions of angels. One angel in the Old Testament destroyed 185,000 enemy soldiers in a single night. 12 legions of angels could have ended everything. But he did not call them, because you were worth more to him than his comfort, because your sin needed a payment, and he was willing to be that payment. After the flogging, Jesus was forced to carry his own cross through the streets of Jerusalem. The city was packed. Thousands had come for Passover. The road to Golgotha, the place of the skull, was about 1/3 of a mile. For a healthy man, it would have been a manageable walk. For Jesus, weakened from blood loss and dehydration, it was an almost impossible journey. At some point along the way, he collapsed under the weight. A man named Simon of Cyrene, a visitor who had come to Jerusalem for the festival, was pulled from the crowd and forced to carry the cross the rest of the way. I think about Simon sometimes. He had no idea when he woke up that morning that he would spend part of that day carrying the cross of the Son of God. And I think about the women who lined the road and wept. Jesus paused, beaten, bleeding, barely able to stand, and turned to them with words of compassion. Even in that moment, he was thinking about others. That is who Jesus is. Even on the worst day of his life, he was more concerned about the people around him than about his own suffering. They arrived at Golgotha. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. The soldiers offered Jesus wine mixed with myrrh, a mild painkiller. He refused it. He would face this moment fully conscious and fully present. They laid him on the cross. They drove iron nails through his wrists, where bone and nerve could bear the weight of a human body. They nailed his feet to the wood. They lifted the cross upright and dropped it into the ground with a jolt that would have sent waves of agony through every wound on his body. Crucifixion was designed to be slow, public, and humiliating. Victims hung in view of passers-by. Strangers would stop to mock. Religious leaders walked by and sneered. And above his head, Pilate had ordered a sign placed. It read in 3 languages, Hebrew, Latin, and Greek, "Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews." What was meant as mockery was actually the most accurate theological statement made that entire day. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. John 3:16.
During the 6 hours Jesus hung on that cross, he spoke 7 times. Each statement is a window into the heart of God. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. These were among his very first words from the cross. Not a curse, not a cry for justice, a prayer for forgiveness for the men who put him there. In America today, we live in a culture obsessed with getting even. Cancel culture, social media outrage, the demand that people pay for what they have done. And here is Jesus being executed unjustly, and his first response is to pray for the people doing it. This kind of forgiveness is not natural, it is supernatural, and it is the same forgiveness he offers to every person who has ever wronged God, which includes every one of us. Today you will be with me in paradise. On either side of Jesus, 2 criminals were crucified. One of them mocked, but the other, watching how Jesus died, recognized something. He said, "Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus, hanging in agony, minutes or hours from death, looked at that man and said, "Today, not someday, not if you earn it, today you will be with me in paradise." There is no clearer picture of grace in the entire Bible. A man with nothing to offer, no time to make amends, no way to clean up his life, and Jesus said, "Today." If that story speaks to you right now, if you have spent years thinking you have done too much to be forgiven, hear the words of Jesus to that man, "Today. Behold your mother." Jesus looked down from the cross and saw his mother, Mary. Standing beside her was John, one of his closest disciples. In the middle of his suffering, Jesus made sure his mother would be cared for. He entrusted her to John. He was thinking about family, about relationships, about the people he loved. The cross was not some distant cosmic transaction that ignored the human side of things. Jesus was fully human. He hurt, he loved, he grieved, and he showed, even in his final hours, that love is expressed in the practical care of the people around us. My God, why have you forsaken me?" At noon, darkness covered the land. For 3 hours the sky went dark, and then Jesus cried out those devastating words. Some people are confused by this. Was Jesus losing faith? Was he doubting? No, he was quoting Psalm 22, a prophetic psalm that described the crucifixion in detail 1,000 years before it happened. He was announcing its fulfillment. But there was also something real happening spiritually. For the first time in all eternity, the Father and the Son experienced separation because Jesus was bearing the full weight of human sin, and sin separates. That separation, that darkness, is what every person deserves because of the ways we have walked away from God. Jesus took it in our place. I thirst. 2 words, simple, devastating in their humanity. The creator of every river, every ocean, every drop of rain on this earth said, "I thirst." A soldier soaked a sponge in sour wine and lifted it to his lips. Even in this small detail, ancient scripture was fulfilled. It is finished. This is possibly the most important sentence in all of human history. The Greek word used here is tetelestai, a single word that was stamped on business receipts in the ancient world. It meant paid in full, debt settled, nothing more is owed. When Jesus said, "It is finished," he was not saying, "I'm done." He was declaring, the debt has been paid, the mission is complete. Every sin, past, present, and future, has been covered. There is nothing more to add. No amount of religious activity, no level of personal achievement, no number of good deeds can add to what Jesus accomplished in that moment. It is finished, paid in full. Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. With those words, Jesus breathed his last. He did not have life taken from him. He surrendered it. He laid it down willingly. And at that exact moment, the earth shook, the rocks split, tombs were opened, and in the Jerusalem temple, the massive veil, 60 feet tall, 4 inches thick, was torn in two, not from the bottom up as a human mind might tear it, from top to bottom, from God's side. That veil had separated the people from the presence of God for centuries. Its tearing declared that the barrier was gone, the separation was over. Every person now had direct access to God, not through a priest, not through a religious system, but through the blood of
A Roman centurion, a battle-hardened soldier who had witnessed countless deaths, looked at what he had just seen and declared, "Surely this man was the Son of God." The crowd that had cheered for the crucifixion began to drift away, quietly, soberly, beating their chests in grief. Something had shifted in them. They did not yet fully understand what had happened, but they knew something extraordinary had taken place. Later that afternoon, a man named Joseph of Arimathea went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. He and a man named Nicodemus wrapped the body in linen cloth and placed it in a brand new tomb carved from rock. A large stone was rolled across the entrance, guards were posted, and the world went quiet. For the disciples, that evening was the darkest of their lives. The person they had followed, the one they believed was going to change everything, was dead. Their hopes seemed buried with him. But here is the truth that Good Friday teaches us. What looks like the end from one angle is often the beginning of something greater. The cross looked like defeat. It was the greatest victory in history. The tomb looked like the end. It was the door to resurrection. The silence of that Saturday felt like abandonment, but
So let us come back to the question we started with. Why is it called Good Friday? It is good because on that cross, Jesus took the punishment that humanity deserved. The Apostle Paul wrote it plainly. God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. 2 Corinthians 5:21. Do you understand what that verse is saying? Jesus, who never sinned, not once, became sin. He absorbed it, he carried it, he died under its full weight so that you and I would not have to. And in exchange, everyone who puts their faith in Jesus is given the righteousness of God. Not earned, not deserved, given. It is good because the veil was torn. You now have access to God, right now, wherever you are, in whatever condition you are in. You do not need a priest. You do not need a perfect record. You need a heart that turns toward Jesus. It is good because the thief on the cross proved that it is never too late. No life is too broken. No person is too far gone. If you are still breathing, grace is still available. It is good because Jesus prayed for the people who hurt him, and that prayer covers you too. Every time you have turned away from God, every time you chose your own way, every time you fell short, he prayed, "Father, forgive them." And it is good because it is not where the story ends. Good Friday does not stand alone. It is the middle chapter of a story that begins in creation and ends in eternity. It is the chapter where love reaches its absolute peak. But it is followed by a Saturday of silence and then a Sunday morning that shook the world. As we sit with Good Friday today, we do not sit in hopeless grief. We sit in knowing grief, knowing that the tomb is empty, knowing that he rose, knowing that because he lives, we too can live.
But Easter resurrection means nothing without Good Friday sacrifice. You cannot skip the cross to get to the empty tomb. The resurrection is the answer, but the cross is the question. And the question is, how much does God love you? The cross is the answer. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. While we were still sinners. Not after we cleaned up, not after we got it together, not after we started going to church and stopped making mistakes. While we were still a mess, He came. While we were still running away, He ran toward us. While we were still choosing sin, He chose the cross. That is the love of Good Friday. That is why it is called good.
We have walked through the events of Good Friday today, from the garden to the trial, from the flogging to the road, from the cross to the tomb. Now, I want to speak directly to you, wherever you are watching this. Maybe you grew up in church and you know this story by heart, but somewhere along the way, it stopped being personal. It became information instead of transformation. If that is you, I want to invite you back to the foot of the cross today. Not back to a religion, not back to a set of rules, back to the person of Jesus, who died for you and rose again. Maybe you have never really understood what Good Friday means. You have heard the word Easter, you have seen the holiday, but no one ever sat you down and explained, this is what Jesus actually did. This is what it actually cost. This is what it means for your life. If that is you, I want you to know that what Jesus did on that cross was for you specifically, not just for humanity in general, for you by name. The God who formed you, who knows every hair on your head, who sees every moment of your life, decided that you were worth dying for. And maybe you are carrying something heavy today: guilt over past choices, shame over who you have been, fear that you have gone too far to come back. I want to point you to the cross one more time. The thief had nothing, no time, no clean record, no religious resume, and Jesus said, "Today." Whatever today looks like for you, there is grace available. If you have never surrendered your life to Jesus, I want to give you that opportunity right now. No formula, no performance, just honesty. You can say something like this: Jesus, I believe you died for my sins and rose from the dead. I am tired of living life without you. Forgive me. Come into my heart. I give you my life. I want to follow you. If you said something like that today, welcome to the family. Find a Bible-believing church. Get connected with other followers of Jesus. Start reading the Gospel of John. Your new life has just begun. And if you're a believer who just needed to be reminded of the weight and the beauty of what Jesus did for you, let this day refuel your fire. Let the cross reignite your gratitude. Let Good Friday make Easter Sunday feel like the explosion of hope it is